Roll call, trustee,
I have an agenda.
I don't have any stream.
Agenda?
trustee Cox,
I'm here.
trustee Foley,
Yes, I'm here.
trustee Hopkins,
Here.
trustee Royer,
Here.
and supervisor Allen.
Here. Vicki, we got any more agendas?
What's, I left my packet at home because I'm tired of counting that LES thing.
Moving on to the roll call.
Now for the
Okay.
minutes.
Can we get a approval of the prior meeting minutes?
So moved.
Motion, can we get a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? If none, roll call.
Trustee Cox,
Yes.
trustee Foley,
Yes.
trustee Hopkins,
Yes.
trustee Royer,
Yes.
supervisor Allen.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Public comments. Anybody from the public? Yes, sir.
Just a question on,
Say your name first.
Bill Ostrowskis.
Okay.
Just the people that are entertaining to be with a union, can it be announced what union it's with? Who's negotiating for the taxpayers and who's representing the workers up here?
You need to sign them too.
I can do that.
Nope.
Well, the union is, the what?
So, Laborers Union is who is going to be representing the collective bargaining units. I have been attending most of the negotiation meetings. Trustee Hopkins came to the last one.
And I've been there too. Yeah.
Are they asking for a lot more than what we're already paying, or?
So the deliberations and the negotiations of salaries for groups of employees is confidential, and we'll disclose that as it goes along.
Any other questions?
No, that shut me up.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I got something.
Yes, sir.
Robert Milam. I just hope that as you guys go through these negotiations that you do realize that these offices run on these girls that work here. If it wasn't for them, no offense to you, supervisor, but
No, you're right. Yeah.
this place was shut down in a minute.
Yeah, we got some good gals. And we got a good gal from down the street there too.
I hope you give them their due respect.
Two good gals down the street. Anybody else? Moving on, reports by officers, committee, or special committee? Yes, sir.
I'd like to wish our counselor, Jack Darty, the happy birthday today.
Oh, happy
Oh,
birthday!
it's Chuck's birthday too, happy birthday.
Where's my gas?
It's a weird day to have a birthday, huh?
Yeah.
And two of our friends, a friend of mine,
It's a
both
shitty
of her
one, 17
daughters.
years
Oh,
ago.
man.
No.
All right, that's all I have for that.
I guess I'd like to address the matter that Mr. Ostrowskis and everybody's gonna be talking about tonight. And I guess I wanted to address this before we're possibly forced to go into executive session, just to refresh, if the public doesn't know, first of all, this board, at least me, I did not know anything about this until negotiations were even underway, which I thought was, I don't know if the word is rude or just, I can't believe it. I mean, that we
I
weren't.
didn't either.
Right, and, you know, and again, I don't know why we weren't
I don't
notified.
know, but I'm sorry if that happened, yeah.
Well, it did happen. So anyway, so I'm kind of behind everything, trying to figure out where we're at. I'm not against any township employees wanting to join a union, period. That's totally fine, and they have every right to do that. But I was elected by the citizens and the taxpayers, and we're here to protect them as well. We want the best bang for our citizens' buck. And, you know, I assume that that's what you guys want as well. So you know, it's like we need to run a business like it's our own business. I understand that it's also not their fault to ask for big pay raises. I don't blame them. Heck, if I was in their shoes, I'd ask for a big pay raise myself, you know? But again, I believe that it's my job to do the very best for the taxpayers. That's who elected us. And I want to know what's going on before it happens. We can't know after the fact, oh, we gave them a 25% pay raise. That's
I
not
think
right.
it's gonna be brought up tonight.
Well, I know,
Okay,
but what
well.
I'm saying is, you know, so that's where, and before we do it in executive session, all right, I hope, Terry, that you'll provide, or Mike or Dan, that you guys are gonna provide some statistics that show what other employees at other townships are making, how many employees they have compared to what we have now. Because again, for our people, for Collinsville and Maryville and the folks in the township, we don't wanna be paying double what other townships are paying, the taxpayers. That ain't fair, you know? And so before we say, okay, we're gonna give them these, you know, raise or whatever, we need that information.
And we'll work with you.
Yeah, and, you know, and again, I ask seniors out there, or parents, or people that have parents, you know, seniors, what was their raise last year for Social Security? What was it, the year before, 0.02%, then 2%? That's all I'm saying. You know, we have to be fair about this, and I want the best for the taxpayers. So,
Very good. Yeah, Mike?
First of all, whether the township knew about it, board knew about it or not, to me is irrelevant, because I didn't know about it. But the employees have their right to organize after work hours and stuff like that without our knowledge until they become organized. And that's how the system works.
And I didn't feel bad about that, and that's how it went
I
down.
don't think
And
they
that's
did.
how
I
it went
just said
down,
that.
yeah.
I'm not upset that they're organizing. In fact, I actually advocated that when I came on. And there's other people who need to organize also, but, bottom line is that, we should have been notified. There was a letter that came from the labor board that notified the board. We get every correspondence for thank you cards, for flowers. We get correspondence, thank you for your donation for the pom-pom squad and everything else, but we didn't get that correspondence. And I'm not blaming you, I'm not blaming you, I'm not blaming anybody, but somebody.
But I think that got squared away last week.
Somebody didn't give us that letter, and we weren't notified that this was occurring. I knew it was occurring, but I didn't know it was official on paper yet.
From now on, we will. And there hasn't been really nothing done.
But there you
I don't
go.
think there's gonna be many other times that the whole township's gonna join the union. It's not, that answer just, you know, from now on, that's the way it's always been done. It just bothers me. And so we can't do anything about it. Moving forward though, you know, I hope we do it in open session.
You
Because
will.
I believe the public deserves to know where folks stand and, figure that
I'll
out.
be corrected by our attorney if I'm wrong, but we can't discuss figures for an ongoing negotiation in.
Well, we can get to that. I got some.
In open session.
Yeah, we can chat on
Okay.
that when it gets to the agenda.
Right. So, it's not proper negotiations on the employer side, which that's what we're on, or for the employee side. I mean, you
I mean,
can't
I'm-
discuss that in an open forum.
Well, I have
You
some
won't see
things.
that
that's-
anywhere.
Okay, well, I have some things, I want the public to know. If you guys want a 25% raise for a certain employee,
Who's saying that?
I have a letter right here. We can get to it when we get to the agenda. I have the letter, it's actually 22%. You know, we can get to that.
Anybody else? General assistance bill for $6,541.27.
I have lots of questions, and I'm hoping somebody can answer. So, on these bills, and maybe one of you guys can explain too. So, let's go back to last meeting. August 28th. The balance, let's say in the general assistance, we'll just start there, was $430,337, all right? Is this what we voted on, the 7,693, Terry, is that before or after that ending balance?
Maybe Vic, you know who,
Vicky?
you know who it'd have been, she's sick back, might get her out here. You know who, the girl that just left, she'd be the one that can answer us, well, she's not here no more.
Maybe you can help. So like this balance here, this is August 28th meeting, that we voted on the 7,693. Is that before or after the ending
Okay,
balance?
Jerry, I explained this before. The bank balances are the previous end of the month balances off the bank statement. This is the bank statement balance. I don't change that balance until I get this bank statement at the end of the month or after we receive it the first week of the next month.
Can you reconcile it?
Yes.
Okay.
Once it's reconciled, then the balance
So
is
it
changed.
only changes once a month.
Yes, sir.
So it'd actually be easier to understand if we looked at the bills once a month, possibly.
Possibly. I also put,
This is my stuff here.
okay,
So,
the
'cause-
file that you have here.
Either way, it just doesn't make sense, and the reason is, and I just wanna understand it. So we started with 430. If that was before or after, it doesn't matter. We spent 6.5 and it went down 15,000. So even if you add, where's the other,
That's that.
it doesn't add up. And same thing down
If you look
here.
at your monthly things where I have the
Mhm.
receivables and the expenditures, it should add up because it
This-
adds up according to the audit.
And this isn't even
Okay.
close at all, like on the town fund. So, we spent, this is this meeting, okay?
Mhm.
28 grand, 436, correct? Okay? The balance before was 1,273,000,
Okay,
all right? 1 million, we got on this here, $60,000, am I right?
Right.
Okay, so you take that minus the 28,000, we should be up 40,000, but we're down 50,000.
this is the balance as of the end of August. These are figures for September. These aren't off of that balance yet. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand, it's just the numbers are not even close to adding up, like Road and Bridge is up 200,000, but that shows, because they had receivables. Their numbers actually add up, but ours don't. And like the
We
general
have
assistance,
receivables,
every
too.
time, the money just, I don't know where it's not being transferred, is it?
No. There's no money going into GA other than interest or something that the auditors have said needed to be applied to general assistance.
Oh,
We got unfinished business, is all we have left.
the only, it's going in
Yeah,
there.
how to make a motion to go into executive session for deliberations concerning the salary and contract negotiations with the office staff.
We have a motion,
I'd like
second.
Can I finish?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's pursuant to 5 ILCS 122C2, the section of the law that states that we have to.
Is that this law here that you want me to read
I
it?
can't see it.
I in fact think it might be illegal to actually go into executive session, and I'll read this law. It says a public body may hold closed meetings to consider the following subjects: the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. However, a meeting to consider an increase in the compensation to a specific employee of the public body that is subject to the Local Government Wage Increase Transparency Act may not be closed and shall be open to the public and posted and held in accordance with this act. So I guess, this isn't one employee, this is increases across the board, all right? I know, I think what you're,
Can I interject
Sure,
really quick?
mhm.
Read the next paragraph.
That's all I have, public
Okay, so that's C1.
okay,
C2 says this. Collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives or deliberations concerning the salary schedules for one or more classes of employees may be in the executive session.
Okay.
And that's 5 ILCS 120/2C2. You were citing C1.
Okay, and so I guess my first question would be the Local Government Wage Increase Transparency Act. So
So if you.
What is
so-
that?
So if you read that sentence, compensation to a specific employee,
Mhm.
which is exactly what's in
Right,
that.
right.
here. So we're not talking about a specific employee.
right, we're talking across the
We're talking about
board.
collective bargaining,
Mhm.
we're talking about a union, and we're talking about classifications
Right.
of employees.
My question is, the key word that I think that you just read is may.
Right?
Doesn't
He
say.
just made the motion.
Right, no, I agree. So my argument before we do this, and I guess you're going to abstain, but my point is, so I'm not trying
No, I'll
to,
actually be in this executive.
oh, you're gonna do this one, okay,
I
so,
can't have no input, but I've seeked legal advice today, and I can be in the executive session.
okay, so, but my thing to the board is, I believe that the public deserves to know. They deserve to know, how their taxes are being spent and what, if it's gonna be 22% raises. I don't know why we're wanting to be secretive about it.
Well, because if we discuss it in an open forum,
Yeah,
we could have an unfair labor practice filed against us, because we're discussing things that were discussed in negotiations in an open forum. Just like they can't go to the paper and say, we're asking for this, this, and this. They can't put it in a public forum, we can't put it in a public forum either. Negotiations are, they're supposed to be confidential until you come to we have a collective bargaining agreement. Once that, and that's what we're going to discuss tonight, is the contents of the collective bargaining agreement. We're not, and that, if wages are part of it, then that, so be it. But until we get a full contract to approve, that has to be voted for in an open session. And to be honest with you, once we post that with the agenda, that'll be, I mean, I think we probably have it for public inspection after
okay,
after
so.
we approve it, right?
Right? Well, right.
So, I understand. Now, let me ask you this. You know, I'll attend the executive session, and, but am I allowed to speak about what we speak about in the executive session? Where in the law does it say that I can't tell the public what's going on?
Cause it's going against the rules.
Well, that's what I'm
The-
asking.
The whole purpose of the executive session is to have confidential discussions, specifically in the context of these collective bargaining negotiations. If a member of the board decided to discuss what the contents of the collective bargaining discussion for political purposes or for the purposes of getting unfair.
I just want I want
So
it to
may I
be
finish?
transparent.
May I finish?
Sure.
So to get unfair leverage over the unit with whom we are bargaining, they can then file an unfair labor practice with us, which is gonna cost the township a bunch of money.
Why is it unfair?
Because that's how it works.
So, but what rule can you specifically state that says that somebody can't tell the public what's going on?
Derek, if you wanna go do.
No, I'm
this-
asking, I'm just asking if to help me. It's, you're our attorney, help me.
I told you that you shouldn't do it. If you wanna do it, do it.
So you're saying there is a law or there isn't a law?
Yeah, there is, I don't have the citation right in front of me. But.
Because the reason I'm asking this is because I also get pressure from the people that elected me and say, hey, we wanna know what the hell's going on, this ain't fair. First of all, it appears that something was going on and they hired you before we even knew about it to negotiate on behalf of the taxpayers, when I thought it was supposed to go through this board, all right? I'm not saying that you're,
He's our attorney though, I think
I know, but
99
when it's something like this, we could have hired somebody, cause you even stated that you've always been on the union side, you've never been on the taxpayer side.
Right, I did say that in the last executive session.
All right, well, I don't know when you said it, but my
Right, I
point
said it in the
is,
executive session.
so my point is that I just don't, I'm getting from the other side, say, hey, we need to know what's going on, and I'm just trying to say, I'm trying to do what I think my job is to inform the public, transparency, that's all.
I understand.
Yeah, and that's all I'm trying to do.
Right.
I made a motion, did someone second it?
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
Second by Mike. Any questions? If not, roll call.
Just to go into executive session.
Yes.
Trustee Cox,
No.
trustee Foley,
Aye.
trustee Hopkins.
Yes.
Trustee Royer,
Yes.
Supervisor Allen.
Aye. I guess I'll go downstairs. and
Motion
plug that.
carried.
And in 6 months though,
Do you want me
the
to go?
folks will be able
Huh?
to hear
You want
what's
me
in
to
the
go?
executive session. Is
You don't
that
mind doing
correct?
it yourself?
If
You had
the
the key,
negotiations
you
are
have to
over,
take
and
it.
this board votes to raise it.
Oh, okay, gotcha, because that's what I was told too. I'm just trying, I'm not trying
Oh,
to
I
be.
completely.
I'm looking.
Right.
6
I
months from the
completely
resolution
understand.
of the issue. So